I'm Anna Kujawa, and this is my first Urantia class. And Urantia, for those of you who are not familiar with it, Urantia is a channeled body of work that was channeled through a group starting in Chicago back in the 1930s, 40s. And Urantia is the name of planet Earth in the greater star system that is our galaxy. So the Urantia book is the history of planet Earth. So it's the whole history of Earth that culminates in the story, the life and teachings of Jesus. And it's very cosmic and very wild. So I'm not starting at the beginning, I'm starting at paper 110. So in paper 110 is called Relation of Adjusters to Individual Mortals. So what are the adjusters? The thought adjusters that this section will be talking about is the divine indweller that each of us is indwelt by. So the idea is that in each individual mortal a spark of the divine exists, and this divine spark is guiding us and healing us, and we are in relationship with it. And so this section is talking about the relationship of our divine indwellers to us. All right? Any questions about that, guys, before I go on? Any comments or questions? All right. So, relation of adjusters to individual mortals, paper 110, Urantia. And it says, the endowment of perfect beings with freedom entails inevitable tragedy.
Boom.
Funny sentence. What a first sentence.
Imperfect.
Yes. Oh, so it said? Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you. The endowment of imperfect beings with freedom entails inevitable tragedy. And it is the nature of the perfect ancestral deity to universally and affectionately share these sufferings in loving companionship. Okay, there's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, reading the Urantia is very challenging. Some sentences will go on and go on and go on and go on. So bear with us. So what it's saying here is that yes, when you give imperfect beings freedom of will, it entails inevitable tragedy. Because what do you think that those imperfect beings are going to be doing with their imperfect will, with their freedom of will? Yeah, well, we've seen. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But then it says, but it's the nature of the perfect ancestral deity to universally and affectionately share these sufferings in loving companionship. So what do we have within us? We have an ancestral deity, beautiful, that affectionately shares our sufferings in loving companionship. So when we are suffering, when we are doing our trial and error, and when we are suffering, what's really happening within us, unbeknownst to us in our suffering? Well, we are being indwelt by something that is sharing our suffering in loving companionship. So something to remember as we're like, oh, suffering, I'm in pain, I'm hurt, I'm scared, I'm sick. You are not alone. Something within you is sharing lovingly your suffering in loving companionship. Now, good to know. Why? So that you can call to it. Help me to understand this. Help me to know you're there. Guide me through this. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your presence. Help me to know I'm not suffering alone. Never suffering alone. Good to know, eh? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, when you're suffering and you call to that being and you say, help me to know I'm not alone, let me feel you sharing this with me, and let me feel your compassion, what do you think is going to happen to your suffering?
Should go away.
It's going to go down. If it doesn't go away, it's going to go down.
Reduces
It's,
at least.
absolutely. Suffering is reduced when you realize you're not going through it alone. And so this is reminding us that we have this universal deity that is indwelling us. Okay. Then it says, then it's going to speak in the first person. So this is the voice of the entity that this is coming through. And there are many different beings and groups of beings that send different papers, different sections, okay? I think that, I forget, if you can turn to the end of the section, it may say who is the entity that this is coming through. I don't remember. Seems like it was something like...
Would it be just
Solitary messengers of Orvanton.
Okay, there you
Orvanton?
go.
How do you say Orvanton?
Orvanton. Okay.
It's a solitary messenger.
Where did you see that?
At the very end of the
section.
110. It's just
The
before
whole
111.
section. Okay.
And he is, was that the universe or planet he's from? Where is Orvanton?
I don't remember
I can't
right
remember
now.
all that.
So yeah,
Okay. He's from a different,
it's a sphere.
not here.
It's a different
Orbiton.
place. Yeah,
he's not from here.
Yeah.
He didn't come up from the earth.
yeah,
Right.
He came from somewhere else. There's
Some.
a lot of them.
That's right. There's a
A
lot
lot
of
of
them.
places they all.
Yeah.
Basically, when you listen to teachers of Urantia that I've watched on YouTube, they basically say that that these beings are extraterrestrials. I mean, because what's an extraterrestrial? They're beings that are not from around here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, from different star systems and different spheres, and also different levels of consciousness. So not just even a different star system, but a different
Realm of thinking.
realm of consciousness. So they're really far out beings.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Aren't we as Urantians like second to the bottom?
I thought we were the bottom.
yeah,
awareness.
I didn't hear second to the bottom, but I
You're
did
the bottom.
hear,
I
you
did.
know, Urantia talks about as Urantia as being a very primitive,
Planet.
very primitive, very warlike, primitive. But so for first us, it's very primitive, and I don't hear it anywhere saying that there's any place more primitive.
Right.
So,
I think we're the first.
and that for a long time, Urantia has been quarantined in the greater universe. You can see why.
Yeah.
Some of the teachers of Urantia that I've been listening to on YouTube say that as of the late 80s that quarantine was lifted.
It says in here that some
And
of
it's,
it,
you know,
somewhere.
yeah, oh,
We
it doesn't
were
say
lifted,
that,
some of it were waived.
it doesn't say it was lifted, but these teachers who've been continuing to channel these beings
Oh.
say that the quarantine has been lifted.
Better.
Yeah, so which means probably more entities able, willing, ready and available to come assist us at this time. Okay, good, because we need a lot of help.
Yes.
We need as much help, we need as much cosmic divine assistance as we can get, don't we?
Yes.
I mean,
I do.
check out our planet.
Yes.
Anybody listen to the news today? We need as much cosmic assistance as we are willing to allow. And this is how we do that. This is one of the ways that we say, yes, I'm willing. Yes, use me for that purpose. Yes, I'm willing to be a channel for that light and that wisdom and that knowledge to come from a higher realm to help the planet. This is one way that we do that. So then this being, who this is coming from, says, as far as I am conversant with the affairs of a universe, I regard the love and devotion of a thought adjuster as the most truly divine affection in all creation. Wow. The most truly divine affection in all creation, the devotion of your thought adjuster to you. Divine affection. The most truly divine affection in all the universe is how your thought adjuster, your divine indweller, feels about you, is devoted to you. There's something within you that is truly devoted, divinely devoted to you. And I love that it uses the word affection. The most truly divine affection in all creation is the devotion and love of your thought adjuster for you. Good to know. The love of the sons in their ministry to the races is superb. The sons are another group of entities whose purpose is to help us to evolve. So the love of the sons in their ministry to the races is superb, but the devotion of an adjuster to the individual is touchingly sublime, divinely father-like. How beautiful. The Paradise Father has apparently reserved this form of personal contact with his individual creatures as an exclusive creator prerogative, and there is nothing in all the universe of universes exactly comparable to the marvelous ministry of these impersonal entities that so fascinatingly indwell the children of the evolutionary planets. Oh, what are we on? One of the evolutionary planets.
And there are other planets
Lots.
that are not evolutionary, right?
Maybe so, because because they've evolved.
They're already advanced.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we are one of the evolutionary planets, and according to Urantia, we evolve from sphere or realm to realm to realm as we are evolving back to
The Father.
yeah, back to God, back to the point where there's no more learning needed. Like the Course in Miracles says, their learning has a limit. There will come a time when you don't need to learn anymore. Once you've accepted the fact that you are one with Creator, well, there's no more need for learning. You go from learning to creating. But
Loving.
yes, loving. You know, right now we're learning, but of course the Miracle says eventually you go beyond learning to just loving.
Yeah.
Right now we have to learn to love.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do when you're on an evolutionary planet.
Right.
You know. And then Urantia says that there's 7 realms. It's called circles, right? Circles or spheres that you evolve
Is
through.
that the Morantia levels?
The Morantia levels, 7 Morantia levels, which is evolutionary levels. So these says, I love it, there's nothing in all the universe of universes exactly comparable to the marvelous ministry of these impersonal entities, the thought adjusters that so fascinatingly indwell the children of the evolutionary planets. Okay.
So is the Paradise Father God?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, the point of that is that, you know, you're indwelt. You know, we are indwelt by something that is profoundly and affectionately devoted to us, to helping us evolve. And it's willing to share all of our sufferings. And there's nothing more beautiful in the whole universe than its devotion to us. Wow. If we knew that, we would never feel lonely again.
Yeah.
Nor would we despair. We might have challenges, but we would know that we were not facing them alone. We would know that we have a genius, an absolutely a love genius within us whose devotion to us is complete, who's ready anytime, any moment. Wow.
And then all those things that happen to us, these sufferings or whatever we learning,
Yes.
are temporal.
Yes. They're
so
temporary.
they're not, which means to be
Yes.
temporary.
Right.
I love that. So you don't have to go, how do I spend years solving this? You don't,
Right.
it's not gonna matter if you can move through it.
That's right. And the
Or
more,
it's not easy, but
and the more
No.
that
no,
you,
it's temporal, and it's not. They always say it. Didn't he? I can't snap a finger of an arthritic finger. It's a snap of a finger of time. That's what it is here.
like the Course says, a blink of an eye.
Eternity is amazing.
That's
to
right.
What I've read.
Yes.
I'm like, really? This is a second in our, what do you call it? Our learning, moving.
Our evolution.
I love that. Yeah. I mean,
too.
this is like, come on, hurry up, I want to get going.
Exactly.
I want to move on.
And the sooner that we turn to that divine indweller, our thought adjuster, the sooner we turn to it and say, okay, you said you're there. You said you're here to help, and that's your purpose. Well, I could use some right about now, and so the sooner we turn to our thought adjuster and ask for help, the sooner the miracle on the other side of the suffering shows up. Because what is the suffering but the attempting to keep the truth away from us? What's the suffering? It's us trying to hide the love that is our nature away from us. We're trying to hide the truth. That's what suffering is. Because
And giving that over to the indweller or the Holy Spirit, whatever, is so satisfying when you realize that that's when I'm going through pain or feeling, defeated, whatever the term would be, I could just rest knowing that I can let that go and just hand it over without even really doing anything else.
That's right.
And just relax in it.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And it can be challenging to do that too.
Absolutely, because your fear tells you that you need to take action.
You need to get caught up in it.
Yeah, and you need to do something. Hi, Jerry.
Hi there.
Good to see you. Here's a book for you. Here you go. And
Page 1203, 1203.
isn't it great to have a book where you're told to go to page 1,200?
For the
Dang.
first class.
And
That's too many books.
That's like halfway through.
We skipped all that while you were here.
Oh, yeah, we did that
We
already.
just did 1,230 pages before you got
You
here.
got
Covered a
it,
lot.
But we just had to catch up to where we knew you already were at.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so the next subsection is called Indwelling the Mortal Mind.
Okay.
All right, so Jerry, we're talking about the thought adjusters, and the thought adjusters are your divine indwelling spirit. Okay, so Urantia calls it your thought adjuster. I love that term. So it says, do you see paper 110? Now go to the next subsection where it says indwelling the mortal mind. It could be right there on that page facing you.
He's in a different book, isn't he? Oh, he's in her book.
Hey Julie, will you come help him find that?
Sure.
Because it may not be the same page as hers.
This section, it's right there.
Okay,
There
got
you
it.
go.
Thanks.
Okay. So, indwelling the mortal mind. Thought adjusters, should not be thought of as living in the material brains of human beings.
Yeah.
The thought adjusters are not organic parts of the physical creatures of the realms. The thought adjuster may more properly be envisaged as indwelling the mortal mind of man rather than as existing within the confines of a single physical organ. And indirectly and unrecognized, the adjuster is constantly communicating with the human subject, especially during those sublime experiences of the worshipful contact of mind with spirit in the superconsciousness. Ah. that feel good? Even if you don't know what it said. That
But
was
if
going to
it's
be the.
sounding right.
That's the thing I was also
Sounding
going to tell you guys too, and you guys listening on the internet, is tune into how this voice feels. Tune into how the material feels, even if you didn't really grasp intellectually what it said.
Yes.
Feel its presence. It has a very powerful feeling to it. So what it's saying is that the thought adjuster lives or abides in our mind. It's not in a physical part of our body, and it's always communicating with us. Always. What does it say? Indirectly and unrecognized, the thought adjuster is constantly communicating with you, its human subject, but especially during the times when of sublime contact between your mind with spirit in the superconsciousness. So like when you're meditating.
Right.
Oh, yes, sir, in the corner.
It says the thought adjuster may more properly be envisaged as indwelling the mortal mind.
Yes, uh-huh.
So the mortal mind, I mean, it's distinguishing from the material brain, and then it talks about the mortal mind. Is it not that, I mean, what is the difference between the mortal mind and like superconsciousness? I mean, as far as, isn't the mind immortal?
They're referring to the mortal mind, which is the mind that thinks it's mortal. So, and then the material mind would be more like the brain.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
But the
So-
mortal mind, but is
So
it not?
it's like it indwells within what I perceive myself to be,
Right, it just,
but not in my body, but me perceiving myself as a body, a mind believing that it's a body. That's what I think the mortal mind would be.
it doesn't refer to that the mortal mind dies.
Correct. It's not saying the mortal mind dies. It's saying, it's not referring to a mind that dies. It's saying the mortal mind meaning the mind of man who thinks he's mortal. So the mind that believes it's mortal. The mind I think with right now is a mind that, I believe I'm
Because that's
mortal.
what we have on this planet. We are
That's right.
mortal.
Right.
The
Our
mortal
bodies
mind,
are
where the other, he's saying maybe the other parts of the other universe, they don't have the same mortal. It's something different. They're from
Yeah,
different
it's like
entities.
the mortal mind.
It's our
what I
planet's thing.
feel like it's saying is like the God consciousness mind of this
Yes.
this Urantia.
That's right.
And so the mortal mind is an expansive mind.
Yes.
And then it would connect up with the super
Exactly. So the bottom level may be the material mind or the brain. Then there's the mortal mind, and then above that, God consciousness, cosmic consciousness, which is the super consciousness.
So it's like the divine mind always monitors the mortal mind.
Yes, there is a spark of the divine mind that's always indwelling the mind, the mortal mind, and as an assistant, as a thought adjuster, monitoring, assisting.
Well, because we have free will, the mortal mind, because we are a mind anyway, or a body, that we have a mortal mind because we had a split mind.
Exactly.
So that
Yes.
there's a mortal essence to that
Yes.
split mind.
That's
because-
right. That's right.
Or non-essence.
So good reminder that indirectly and unrecognized, your thought adjuster is constantly communicating with you, and especially during those sublime experiences of the worshipful contact of mind with spirit in the super consciousness. What a wonderful definition and goal of meditation. Sublime experience of worshipful contact of mind with spirit, which brings you into your superconscious mind. What a beautiful description of what it means to meditate and what's happening in meditation. What's happening in meditation? The communication that your thought adjuster is always in, that's always communicating with you, all of a sudden you can perceive it. It becomes even stronger in those sublime meditative. So meditation, what is meditation? Sublime contact, where you're making sublime contact between your mind and your spirit. So here's your mind, here's your spirit. Now when you make
Spirit's immortal.
and spirit is immortal, absolutely. Beautiful. Also meditation, so we could say the meditation and prayer is a way to experience contact. So contact between your mind and your spirit, contact between your own personal thought adjuster and your mortal mind, meaning what you think you are, and contact of your guides and teachers, whoever they are, wherever they are, being able to speak to you and you to them.
And your mortal mind also, by definition, perceives space and time.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Where your spirit mind, where your spirit is free of that. It's
Yeah.
eternal.
Exactly. And like in the Course in Miracles talks about that Spirit, Holy Spirit, talks about Holy Spirit just like the thought adjusters, very similar. So the thought adjusters, just like the Holy Spirit in the Course in Miracles, takes note of where you think you are in space and time. It speaks to you as if you're a body. It speaks to you as you're mortal. In other words, it speaks your language.
Yes.
It has to speak your language,
Or it would terrify.
or you wouldn't understand it. It wouldn't hear it. And so it has to be able to relate to and through the mortal mind. And it does with superb, sublime affection and compassion that's unmatched in the universe of the universes. Sublime affection and compassion for you. Wow.
Wow.
Your thought adjuster has for you. And then this entity says, I wish it were possible for me to help evolving mortals to achieve a better understanding and attain a fuller appreciation of the unselfish and superb work of the adjusters living within them, who are so devoutly faithful to the task of fostering man's spiritual welfare. I wish
That's
it were possible for me to help evolving mortals achieve a better understanding and attain a fuller appreciation of the unselfish and superb work of the adjusters living within them, who are so devoutly faithful to the task of fostering man's spiritual welfare. I just feel so much love. Mm-hmm. I feel so much love from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, when it says, I wish it were possible, it's like, it's not possible because when we do grasp that, I think we will be moving on to another level or something.
Maybe so. By the time we grasp
Yeah,
it, we're on our
It's
next
really
level.
not possible for you to understand, because once you do understand,
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point.
that's just the way I
Yeah,
saw it.
I like that. Yeah. And you have no idea, you can't even conceive of how faithful and how devoted your thought adjuster is to your evolution, to your healing. You can't even conceive of that. Even this being cannot communicate that to you.
But just knowing that
But just
he's
hearing
there,
it
he,
is
she
like, oh.
is there
Yeah.
willing to do this with our
Yes.
mind, to me is like,
Absolutely.
wow, it's so encouraging.
So,
For this
so,
planet.
so encouraging. It's so encouraging. That's
Yeah.
a great word. Oh, it's so
It's just like
encouraging.
that exists. You
Again.
read it again and again, you go,
Yeah.
what this being is telling
Again,
us.
there's
yes.
something that lives within me, that loves me that much, that's that devoted to me. I mean, I've heard that before. I've heard it through the Course. I've heard it there. God loves you, da-da-da. We've heard it. But when I read Urantia, I get it. I feel that devotion of the thought adjuster in me at a whole nother level. I feel it, I just feel it more deeply. It's more convincing. And again, it's the, if you knew how loved you were, if you knew how loved you were by this thing that indwells you and is always communicating with you, then you wouldn't be afraid. You may still have challenges, but you wouldn't go into despair. Like there are some problems, when you're in a good place, you feeling good, you're feeling strong, you have a challenge, you're like, oh, that sucks. Okay, call for help, da-da-da-da, meditate and pray, right? There are some problems that come up that immobilize you, where you're like, and no problem would immobilize you like that if you were staying aware of this, staying aware that you are indwelt by a genius who is 100% devoted to you in the ultimate affection and compassion.
And then there's the line from the Course, if you but knew who walked beside you on the way you have chosen.
That's right.
Fear would be impossible. I use that in my running
That's right.
all the time.
Fear would be impossible.
Right? Fear would be impossible if you knew.
If
and
you
it
knew.
says the way you've chosen. You've kind of chosen to go this
Oh,
route.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But you don't have to fear it because it's part of it. I really like that.
Yes, if you
It's
knew
kind of
who walked beside you on the path that you have chosen, fear would be impossible.
I love that.
And this is just a
Extends
profound
more of it.
embellishment, like
Exactly.
of
It
that.
just even confirms
Yeah.
it more, this entity. Or whatever.
That's why I've studied Urantia and the
And the
Course together for 25 to 30 years. Urantia 25 years, Course 30, but because it's the same thing, but this is just incredibly,
Even,
profoundly beautiful and convincing. This stuff convinces me.
Yeah.
Course in Miracles convinces me that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's valuable in this place where the illusion of separation terrorizes the planet. The illusion of separation terrorizes this planet and terrorizes each one of us. This is the perfect antidote to that, as well as the Course. So then it says, these monitors, these thought adjusters, they are efficient ministers to the higher phases of men's minds. They are wise and experienced manipulators of the spiritual potential of the human intellect. These heavenly helpers are dedicated to the stupendous task of guiding you safely inward and upward to the celestial haven of happiness. Yeah!
I love that.
I love that,
Isn't that beautiful?
Celestial haven of happiness.
And they have this stupendous task. You got that right. What is it? What kind of task is it to guide us?
They
A
don't-
stupendous task.
They don't live.
Why? Because they're guiding the stupid. Stupendous, stupid.
Yes,
See the. To guide the stupid is a stupendous task.
Funny.
That's good.
And they are wise and experienced manipulators of the spiritual potential of the human intellect. These heavenly helpers are dedicated to the stupendous task of guiding you safely inward and upward to the celestial haven of happiness. Again, beautiful meditation guidance. What is the goal of meditation? To allow yourself to be guided safely inward and upward. So when we meditate tonight, we're going to go inward and upward. That's what we're going to do. These tireless toilers are consecrated to the future personification of the triumph of divine truth in your life everlasting.
Love that.
Tireless toilers.
They just keep. And you always wonder where do they come from? This book really.
Yeah. Well, all we have to
Yeah.
know is they
Where
don't
are
they
they?
don't come around. They don't come
Explosive.
from around here.
No, I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, you know that.
These
And-
tires,
And and
They
if
never
they
give up.
were if they were physical, they couldn't give their message as purely
No.
as they can when they're sending it through a channel.
yeah, they're not
Okay.
as imprisoned.
Exactly. And that's as I am understanding it, that's what we are being called to learn how to do. That's what we are being called upon from our celestial helpers. We're being called upon to learn how to hear them. We're being called upon to learn how to channel, how to quiet our minds enough to draw our awareness inward and upward. Why? So that we can hear them. Why? Because unless we hear them, their voice is unheard in hell.
Here,
Yeah, yes, otherwise known as Earth.
Earth,
Okay.
right. What we've made of Earth.
Yes, what we've made of Earth, exactly, what we've made of Earth. So in meditation, we're learning how to hear our divine indweller, our thought adjuster, so that the thought adjuster's voice and words can be heard on Earth. Because like the Course says, if it ain't for you, the Earth ain't gonna hear the truth. If it ain't through you, I mean, whose voice can they hear but yours? Because you're in a body here with them. All right. So it says, he calls them heavenly helpers. And then it says, these tireless toilers are consecrated to the future personification of the triumph of divine truth in your life everlasting. Oh, I want the divine truth to triumph everlasting in my mind and in my life. I want the divine truth to triumph in my life forevermore, for good. Oh, the divine truth triumphed. Okay, it triumphed, it won. On to the next level.
So these tireless toilers or whatever, Holy Spirit, whatever that entity is from incarnation to incarnation, they are the same.
Yes, indeed.
And there is a time-space experience memory that is inherent. I mean, as we are able to sometimes, at least from my own experience, to go to past lives and know that's what it is. And so that memory, and it's the same, I don't know, seems to be the same recognition of whatever I recognize Holy Spirit or my tireless toiler to
Yes, your tireless toiler to be. Yes, absolutely. Ding! There,
Tireless
that was from your
be.
tireless
Here's a
toiler.
tireless toiler.
Here's a tireless toiler right now.
Okay.
I have noticed that our tireless toilers, our heavenly helpers, they have no limits in what they can use to communicate with you, whether it's electronics or numbers or symbols or sounds, electronics. They are not limited in their ability to use whatever to communicate with us. And so, and he said they are always in constant communication with us. Now, we hear them better when we're in a state of meditation where we're, drawing our
Right.
awareness inward and upward, but they're always communicating with us all the time. Always. I love you. I'm here for you. You're not a body. Hey, you could do this. How about that? They're always communicating with us. Amazing. I mean, what if we spent even 1 more hour a week actually practicing listening? 1 hour more. Just what if 1 hour more a week we spent learning how to hear their voice and their messages better? Wow. I'm kind of busy, Very busy. So, then it says,
Projecting my past on my future.
what'd you say?
I'm too busy projecting my past on my future.
Yes, you're too busy projecting your past into your future. I
So
get that,
I can't
yes.
hear you.
So you don't have enough time to give an hour more a week
Right.
to listening to these heavenly helpers who are 100% devoted to you with a compassion and affection that is unmatched in the universe. I know, me too. Okay, then it says, your divine indwellers, they are the watchful workers who pilot the God-conscious human away from the shoals of evil, while expertly guiding the evolving soul of man toward the divine harbors of perfection on far distant and eternal shores. How you like that?
Is that like the evolution of your consciousness, doing the
Yes.
going to the far distant eternal shores?
Yes, exactly. That's where you're going. The far distant and eternal shores. You're heading into a state of mind and a life and a world where there is no death. You don't have to worry about losing something. You don't have to worry about dying. You don't have to worry about someone you love dying. You don't have to worry about there not being enough love, enough goodness, enough, that's where we're going, the far distant shores, the far distant and eternal shores, and your thought adjuster is expertly guiding you away from what the shoals of evil, expertly guiding your evolving soul toward divine harbors, where you feel safe. What's a divine harbor? A divine harbors of perfection, where you feel safe forever. Wow, I can't even conceive of that. But that's what it's doing. They are watchful workers piloting the God-conscious human mind away from the shoals of evil, while expertly guiding the evolving soul of man toward the divine harbors of perfection on far distant and eternal shores. Again, feels so good just to hear that. I don't even know exactly what he's talking about, but boy, that feels
it's
like
the
love.
yeah.
That feels like I'm loved.
And I can visualize being on that far distant and eternal shore, and then I tell myself, it's not even like that. I don't even know that we can imagine what that
We
really
can't.
means. Just
Yeah.
like he's trying to say
Right.
earlier, there's just no way of you understanding
Exactly,
what that
until you
fun-
experience it. Until you experience
Maybe
it,
you
you
get
can't.
glimpses in your meditations.
Exactly. Of course, we call that a revelation.
Right.
Where so you do have glimpses,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have to be able to visualize exactly what it means to get the point that, oh my goodness, I'll say yes to that. Oh, that's what my thought adjuster is trying to do with me. Well, then I'm going to try to help it to help me. I'm going to try to listen to it more. I'm going to try to be more available to it. I'm going to try to be a God-conscious human if I'm wanting to be a human, if I think I'm a human, at least I'm gonna try to be a God-conscious human and let myself be guided from within. It says, the adjusters, the thought adjusters in you, your divine indwellers, they are loving leaders. They are your safe and sure guides through the dark and uncertain maze of your short earthly career.
I like that.
Short.
Yeah.
Short.
Yeah, good to remember what it, your
It's a small
your
part
earth,
of everything.
and notice it refers to earth as a career.
I
Dang.
Yeah.
Earth is a career. It's not an accident I'm here. This is my job. This is my career. I'm going to go to Earth and I'm going to work on evolving my consciousness. And all of our celestial friends are like, no, don't do it. We're like, yes, I'm going to do it. No, they are actually helping us to evolve. So what are they? I'll say it again. They are your thought adjuster is your loving leader, your safe and sure guide through the dark and uncertain mazes of your short earthly career. Your thought adjuster is the patient teacher, your patient teacher, who so constantly urge you, their subjects, forward in the paths of progressive perfection. The thought adjusters are the careful custodians of the sublime values of creature character. I wish you could love them more. I wish you could cooperate with them more fully. I wish you could cherish them more affectionately.
That's interesting.
Says the author.
Says
Who
the
is
guy, the author.
The author is a solitary messenger from Orvanton. And I'll tell you next.
go
I'll tell
there.
you next section about Orvanton. It's a super cool place.
I know, I want to be there. Let's get there quick.
Yeah.
Let's just get that
Yes,
Can we
where
skip
it's
it
a
and go?
super cool place where you evolve to. Where you evolve
Yeah,
to.
you have to work.
Yeah.
I don't think you just,
you evolve there. Okay.
you just learn stuff. I know.
It makes me think of Overton Park.
I know.
Makes you think of what?
Me too. That's what I think of. Or
In Memphis, there's Overton Park,
Yeah.
which is this really
Yes.
cool place. It's
Oh,
where the
yeah.
zoo and everything is. But that's
that's a
Okay.
Memphis reference right there. Okay.
just that.
Teacher,
Look, somebody's actually raising their hand in the
students
back.
has a
See,
question.
he's such a good student. He's such a good student. I didn't even notice him.
Someone done at home.
Yeah, that's true. He's always like, "Hello," and I'm like,
Here.
I would like to say something.
In my hand.
That means that's my signal to stop talking so that he can say something.
You didn't-
He has to raise his hand. Yes.
Just an observation. What I saw, I mean, like in the beginning, it talked about, well, it talks about the relationship between us and our custodians,
Yes.
God adjusted.
our
Our careful custodians.
yes, but it's like the Course. My observation is like the Course. It says things very eloquently, very different, the same.
Yes.
Of the same concept.
Yes. This is some of the most elegant, sublime, breathtaking images and ideas. It's the Urantia is one paragraph and it's like, it's celestial, it's sublime, it's elegant, it's profound.
It's mind captivating.
It's mind captivating. It never ceases to compel my attention. I
It's
mean,
been
But the
great for
course,
my.
both of them are amazing.
Yes.
Course, they teach the same thing, just a little.
it's
Right.
it's the same thing.
They're aligned.
This is
It's
like
the same
more,
thing.
The
this is
words
like
are
more
phrased-
elevated though, more.
Yes.
Well, it goes on. and
Yes,
on.
this is more detail, and it's more entities speaking. It's speaking of the different levels of evolution. Course in Miracles is like, look, your purpose here is to forgive, okay? Here's how you do it, all right?
Right.
And then it alludes to all these things. It alludes to the legions of helpers.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Here, it actually talks about the legions as these,
Right.
this group,
Yes,
that group,
that
this group, that group, this group, da 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 da. The Course also refers to all the different levels of growth. But it also says, but in reality, there are no levels because there's
Right.
only one. So the Course in Miracles alludes to all this, but this is all the details. This is all the details, the cosmic and earthly details. So, you know, so the Course is simpler in that regard.
But seemingly by the same token, it's the Course's, in my view, the strategy is to say the same thing that sounds different to outflank the ego,
Yes.
because the ego's always catching up, and I see the same, you know, kind of mentality here,
Yes, absolutely.
and it's to almost like to amaze you.
Thank you for saying that, because when in my experience, what I've learned, when you are reading a sacred text, it is not just a book. It is a device that facilitates an altered state of consciousness. So just like meditation is a device or a tool that you can use to alter your consciousness and raise your consciousness, so is a sacred text. And for me, the Course is a sacred text. For me, Your Ranch is a sacred text. And there's lots of others of sacred texts. But it has the effect of altering your consciousness, even if you don't exactly know what it's saying. That's how you know you're reading a sacred text.
Right, it's practically demonstrated by how everybody got real jovial when they read that one. Well,
Yes,
each different.
yes.
That makes you feel like, wow, that makes me feel totally loved, or that makes me feel totally free, or that really makes me feel like, you know, my sucky day wasn't so bad, or whatever, you know.
Yes, when we read that paragraph, there was this energy, this joyous energy that came up, woo, like that.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. And then when you read a sacred text as a group, it exponentially magnifies that energy. And notice how it goes up.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it says, let me see how far we are to the end of this. Okay,
Still doing
I'm-
good.
You're almost at two.
okay,
Couple more paragraphs, 3. You
beautiful.
can read through them.
Okay, yeah, we'll finish the last few paragraphs because it's so beautiful. Okay. Although the divine indwellers are chiefly concerned with your spiritual preparation for the next stage of the never-ending existence, the divine indwellers are also deeply interested in your temporal welfare and in your real achievements on earth. Good. Glad to hear it. They are delighted to contribute to your health, happiness, and true prosperity. I could use all of that.
Yes.
You are ever glad to contribute to my health, happiness, and true prosperity? I'll take it. The divine indwellers are not indifferent to your success in all matters of planetary advancement, which are not inimical to your future life of eternal progress. Anything that's helpful or useful to your eternal progress, they're not indifferent to.
Well, that's what the Course says too.
Yeah, and that's what the Course says too. Look, they're whatever is helpful to you in your progress, in your healing, they're interested in. They're not indifferent to it. So don't be telling yourself, well, you know, I shouldn't be asking for guidance on this. It's too menial. I shouldn't be asking for help in this. It's too ridiculous. No, they're not indifferent to anything that contribute to your health, prosperity, and happiness. And I like how it says true prosperity. I like that. It says, adjusters, your thought adjusters, your divine indwellers, they are interested in and concerned with your daily doings and the manifold details of your life, just to the extent that these are influential in the determination of your significant temporal choices and vital spiritual decisions, and, take a breath, hence, are factors in the solution of your problem of soul survival and eternal progress. That was all one sentence, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
There's a breathing pattern that you learn how to do when you read Urantia.
Well,
Just like when you're a diver who has to
this
learn
isn't
how to
writ-
do their breathing.
This isn't written for reading out loud. Because
Maybe so.
Oh, I
Maybe
think
so.
it is.
But it has trained me. I've had to
Yeah.
learn over the past 25 years
Right.
how to read it, because let me tell you,
I like hearing it.
you know, it crossed my mind to have people read paragraph to paragraph, but then I realized when you're reading your Urantia for the first time, it's hard.
yeah.
You know, I mean, literally, I've had to learn how to do a breathing process in reading
I
it.
like to call it a
Because
fusion read.
the divine indwellers don't have to breathe. They just,
Exactly.
Yeah.
they just like rattle it off.
Yeah.
Nor do they have to go by the standard rules of grammar,
Right.
Yeah.
where you don't do run-on sentences. They'll do a run-on sentences
That's
for
not
2
really,
paragraphs.
It's really grammatically correct though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It is.
that's true.
Yes.
It is, and it's pure poetry.
And who could have written it?
Yes. You know, so
It's just
you can
lazy.
tell it's not written by a human mind. A human mind would be
No.
like, well, you can't allow one sentence to go on for a whole paragraph.
Yeah.
So they know that they know that those rules are bogus. So
Yeah.
okay, so what is it saying? They're interested and concerned with your daily doings, insofar as your daily doings are important to your progress, your healing, your true prosperity. Okay, they're interested, so let them help. Then it says, the adjuster, while passively regarding purely temporal welfare, is divinely active concerning all the affairs of your eternal future. Okay?
He knows it's temporal, but
Yeah,
he's working
look,
for your
he'll help
eternal.
you.
He's
He'll help
working
you
on
out
a
with that
divine level.
too.
He's
But
working for your eternal
really,
stuff.
what your adjuster's really about
He's going to
is
eternal.
being divinely active within your mind concerning all the affairs of your eternal future, meaning your progress, your evolution. That's what they're really about. They're not just there to solve your daily problems. They are available for that, but they're really here to help you evolve, and to help you evolve faster toward what? To the realm, the state of mind, the level of consciousness where you're free, where you have true prosperity, true health, true happiness. What's true happiness, true health, and true prosperity? Well, it's prosperity, health, and happiness that doesn't end because you had a bad day.
Yeah.
It's happiness and prosperity and health that doesn't end. It's not fragile. It goes on and gets bigger and better and more and more and more. That's what our divine indwellers are more and mostly interested in. They are divinely active.
Consistently act.
Divinely active concerning the affairs of your evolution. Thank you, adjuster. Like the voice said, I just wish you could love them more, cherish them more. I wish you could talk to them more. I really do. I see why.
Yeah.
I see why this author feels that way. In other words, your adjuster remains with you in all disaster and through every sickness which does not wholly destroy the mentality.
Now that's an
Interesting.
That's an interesting line.
Very
because
interesting.
He stays with you through disaster. She
Yes.
stays with you through sickness. But if, and I was thinking about this because my mom died of dementia, and pretty soon there was nothing.
Yes.
When you're mentally
Yes,
gone,
yes.
it sounds like he can't help you.
It-
Right there, not then. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, that's a very interesting, and then thank you for
I don't know
pointing
what
that out.
means. I never
But it's like,
had all the stars.
in other words, to me that means this. It's like, look, as long as you maintain the ability to
Communicate.
choose. It's like you were talking about the dementia aspect. You know, my mother is going through that.
Yeah.
She's in a state of mentality where she isn't even able to choose. She isn't able to go, I'm responsible for my thinking and I would like to choose. So her mentality has been rendered useless
Useless.
at this
At
moment.
this moment, that's what.
You
I
know-
mean, can't they be somewhere else having communication?
Well, that's
Maybe.
exactly what I heard when I was
I
last
hope
in
so.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
When I had been with her and I realized that her mentality was ineffective. It was useless. The mental mechanism that still chooses, that still can choose
there.
love or fear was not working anymore. And when I was about to weep with sadness, when I realized that, I literally heard this voice say, "That's not her. And where she is with us."
Wow.
And it instantly caught me from like spiraling down and weeping,
Yeah.
which was a good thing because I was driving. And they said, so even when the mentality has been destroyed by like brain damage, dementia, etc., that her soul, her spirit was somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know,
Already.
Because that
Had
one
already
thing is
left
like a brain thing.
that's
like
a brain thing.
physical brain.
Exactly. And we're not in our brains. We don't live in our
Right.
brains, nor do our guides and teachers. So basically, I mean, so right now, this is what I'm hearing right now, her thought adjuster is not necessarily indwelling her mind at the moment. Her indweller has her somewhere else, is
Yeah.
with her somewhere else, not in her body. Whereas ours is like, okay, I'm here in your mortal mind.
Right. She's
Helping you out.
maybe like even the mortal mind is she's not having that experience
Exactly.
anymore. She has moved on to other things.
Exactly. And they were telling
And
me,
they're always with you.
that's right.
So
And they were saying, that's not her, but where she is with us. And we are,
Helping her.
assisting her to,
Right.
in her evolution to the other side where she will regain her mentality. And with her newly regained mentality, she will choose again. She will have an opportunity to choose again.
Wow.
So
Is that the same with cancer people?
I don't.
Their sickness,
Only
though.
if
They're different.
this says
It's a different-
sickness.
Yes, it
That's
does.
not, that doesn't necessarily destroy the mentality.
Yeah.
The mental,
Right.
the
The mind.
mental facility.
Right,
Yeah.
I know, I'm
Okay.
just trying to. Okay.
Yeah, but wonderful thing to pull out.
yeah.
Okay, so but the point being is that the adjuster remains with you in all disaster and through every sickness which does not wholly destroy the mentality. But how unkind knowingly to defile or otherwise deliberately to pollute the physical body.
If we
Wait-
do that ourselves.
Yes, I'm gonna say that again. It's so
Yeah.
powerful. But how unkind knowingly to defile or otherwise deliberately to pollute the physical body which must serve as the earthly tabernacle of this marvelous gift from God. Okay, so we're saying that the adjuster for a while is the tabernacle of the thought adjuster. The body is the tabernacle of the thought adjuster. So if you destroy the body or the mentality of the body, which is the ability to choose again, then you are, it's unkind to destroy the tabernacle of your thought adjuster who's so devoted to you. Wow.
It's a mouthful.
So powerful. All physical poisons greatly retard the efforts of the adjuster to exalt the material mind, while the mental poisons of fear, anger, envy, jealousy, suspicion, and intolerance likewise tremendously interfere with the spiritual progress of the evolving soul.
That just makes sense.
Doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, and I've been.
So you
all
got
that,
you got the physical poisons that do what? The physical poisons
Destroy.
Pollute.
that greatly retard the efforts of the adjuster to exalt the material mind. In other words, the adjuster is within our mind trying to evolve it. He's in our material mind, the mind that thinks we're a body, the mind that thinks that physicality is reality. The adjuster's in there trying to evolve it, trying to spiritualize it, trying to spiritualize our material mind. You're not a body. You're not a body. This isn't all there is. But when you take poisons into the physical body, it retards the ability of the adjuster
that's a
to
choice.
spiritualize your mind.
And that's a choice, some of it.
And that's a
Yes.
choice. That's why
Severe.
he's saying, and if the mentality hasn't been destroyed, because you are choosing what to put in your body or what mental poison, so you're still at choice with what you put in your body or what you think. So physical poisons greatly retard the efforts of the adjuster to exalt the material mind, while the mental poisons of fear, anger, envy, jealousy, suspicion, and intolerance, lovely that he did that complete list, likewise tremendously interfere with the spiritual progress of the evolving soul. Boy, there's some motivation
Let me tell
you,
relative
those
to
thoughts.
your health.
Strong words.
Yeah.
There's some
It's
real,
like,
very powerful motivation.
Thinking.
Think about what you put in your
It's
body.
like-
Think about what you put in your mind.
Yeah.
Thinking one of those thoughts about somebody is just as bad as acting that way.
That's
It
exactly
is.
right.
I was thinking about that because if somebody else is hurting
Jealousy.
themselves, you can't
Yeah.
go, oh, you need to read the course. It's not going to work.
That's right.
But you can still, you don't condemn them.
That's right.
They're not ready. I went through all of
Yeah.
But you could,
We all did.
you could still harm them because that
I don't want to
energy goes out and gets
That's
into
right.
their auric field.
There's physical poison and there's mental poison, so you would no more want to imbibe jealousy, intolerance, suspicion, anger, fear as much as you would want to take a bottle of Drano and put it down your throat. And that's a great image, okay? We want to associate fear, suspicion, envy, jealousy, and intolerance with a bottle of poison.
There's no difference, actually.
Okay, you
In
take
how
a grievance.
horrible they
The course says the same thing.
It's the end result.
A grievance is poisonous. Grievance, poison. So and any poisons that you ingest, whether it's physical or mental, greatly retards the efforts of your divine indweller and the thought adjuster to help spiritualize your mind.
I think that's a great, I had it all started from a long time ago, but that's a great little,
Isn't that powerful? Ooh-wee.
Yeah, the book
it's
of
not
life.
easy to do. You just know that those are the things you just
But that's
keep doing.
motivation, boy. That's
is,
motivation,
yeah.
because next time you have
slow
one of
down
those
progress.
mental poisons, you're going to be like, ooh,
And you slow the progress.
nope, don't want that. And of course, the Miracles is the perfect curriculum to learn how to replace the mental poisons. It's because the Course in Miracles gives us the exercise that when you become aware that you're imbibing a mental poison, it tells you to say, this thought I do not want. Instead, and then you say your lesson for the day. This thought I do not want. Instead, I want da 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 da. Doing that process that the Course in Miracles gives us reverses any potential damage that one of those mental poisons might do. So, last paragraph. Today, you are passing through the period of the courtship of your adjuster. And if you only prove faithful to the trust reposed in you by the divine spirit who seeks your mind and soul in eternal union, there will eventually ensue that Morancha oneness. It goes on to explain what that is. That supernal harmony, that cosmic coordination, that divine attunement, that celestial fusion, that never-ending blending of identity, that oneness of being which is so perfect and final that even the most experienced personalities can never segregate or recognize as separate identities, the fusion partners of mortal mind, mortal man, and divine adjuster. Okay.
Wow.
So,
we would just be it would be one.
Your mortal mind would then fuse to divine mind, and then it would be one mind instead of split mind, like the Course in Miracles talks about all the time. So if you'll just do what? If you will just prove faithful to the trust reposed in you by the divine spirit who seeks your mind and soul in eternal union. So the goal here, we're evolving to my mind and my soul in union. Right now, my mind and my soul are separate. That's why I suffer. That's why we suffer. Okay? That's why we seem to die. Mm-hmm. So if we'll be faithful to the trust put in us by our divine indweller, then eventually we'll experience that supernal, supreme divine union of mind and soul forever. Sounds good, eh? Mm-hmm. So then that begs the question, how do you prove faithful to the trust reposed in you by the divine spirit who seeks that for you? Well, things like this. Mm-hmm. Meditation, studying sacred text. As much as you will allow, begin to learn how to hear the communication of your divine indweller. Do more to learn how to enter that state of mind where you can hear your adjuster's communication, hear and feel their help. Hi, sweetie. Hi. And I love it how it says you are passing through the period of the courtship. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. The period of your courtship. You know, where your adjuster's like, hey, did you know I'm totally devoted to you? Did you know how I feel about you? I'd love to talk to you some. It's a divine courtship, you know, that you are passing through. Interesting.
It's like they're painting the picture on a canvas with the words that are so, you know.
Yes, yes. I feel the same way when I read it. I always feel like I'm looking at the most sublime, superb painting.
Yeah, it's just like
I've ever heard.
They get deep down into your soul. They just
Yes, they do. They get deep down into your soul. Absolutely. That's why I was saying at the beginning, notice how it feels to hear these ideas. This has a whole feeling to it that's like, that's otherworldly.
Yeah.
It feels otherworldly. So, all right, so we're going to stop here for this section, and we're going to go on to the next section. Thank you for joining us for the Urantia video number 1.